back in the home studio. What's going on, everybody? This is TAETRO. I want to do another mail time Q&A video. Let's check it out. So first things first, if you enjoy live electronic music performances, tutorials, and free sound packs, subscribe to this channel. I give at least 2 videos every single week and take comments and questions from my comment section and from taetro.com/ask. You can also become a part of the new TAETRO Facebook community page by sending me a message over on facebook.com/TAETRO music. Finally, let's get into the questions. But let's start simple. The question I get asked all the time, 2 that came in that are kind of the same thing. Juan asked, on a budget, what devices do you think you should buy when starting off producing, making music? Similar question from Naimul. He says, what will you recommend to a beginner in terms of what equipment for a starter? So go and watch my Buy This MIDI Controller video, where I recommend 2 really awesome controllers that I think any beginner should start with. Basically, it comes down to the Akai MPK Mini or the Launch Key Mini. Juan has a second part to his question. What platforms or how would you advise me to upload my music? Should I copyright it or just upload it? Maybe only part of the song, etc. Get as much of your stuff out there as possible and don't wait to just copyright your music, especially when you're just starting. While you're doing that process of getting everything and doing it the right way, everybody else is just uploading. I say use SoundCloud, figure out where your audience is listening, so find artists that are similar to you in your genre and figure out where is their music. Are they all on Bandcamp? Are they on Spotify? I use a distribution service called DistroKid that I highly recommend, but it's most important to find where your audience is already, because people aren't going to pick up a new platform just for an unknown producer. So I figured out my fan base is not really on all these different stores. They are on YouTube, which is why I started this channel and why I'm gaining so much traction. I think is because this is where the audience is. Figure out where your audience is, and that's where you should distribute your music. Third question Juan asked, and I wouldn't usually take multiple part questions because I think that's cheating, but this is a really good one. Basics on creating a good song without vocals. People like listening to songs with vocals because there are things that they can connect with, like lyrics, or to go even more basic, a human voice. You can add some sort of human element to your track to make the listener feel connected. Something like a vocal sample could work. Another thing is the song structure. The reason radio hits work so well is because they have that tried and true structure that keeps the listener interested all the way through, but also builds up the tension and release. Next question came from Anonymous over on Tumblr, and it says, when you do a live jam with Circuit, do you have a rough structure arrangement in your head? I do go into Circuit performances with a set structure in mind. Not only that, but I've rehearsed it a couple times before you end up seeing it on video. I always have to start with something that's keeping the time for me. Usually that's either drums or there's one loop that exists already. Then I know I want to do some improvisation on an instrument and then build the drums a little bit more, dial everything back for a bridge sort of section, and then bring everything back in for a harder, more full section. You want to keep things evolving, and you do that by building musical material and also improvisation with either instruments or with effects. Next question. So Jesus asks, what is the best audio recorder for samples at a low price? I use the Tascam DR05, which is a nice cheap recorder. It's under $100. One thing I recommend a lot of people, if they want to save some money, is if you already have a phone or a tablet, they sell a lot of really great attachable microphones that are really good quality. Rode makes some. There are some iRig models. Blue even makes some now. Those are a really cheap way to go because you don't need a dedicated device. You can use a device that you might be carrying with you all the time anyway. Another anonymous question from Tumblr says, what got you into music production? I was a songwriter originally starting out, and I was very interested in recording my own music. Playing live was fun, but I wanted to have my own recordings. Recording is very expensive, so I figured out how to do it on my own on a computer, and this started off very, very basic with the basic computer that we had at home. It included using Microsoft's sound recorder, one of those little microphones that used to come with the desktop computers, and also using just Audacity. Over time, I just started learning more and more about audio production to make myself sound better, because I realized that my sound recordings are the representation of me as an artist, so I wanted them to sound the best that they could. So I just kept building my knowledge over time to make sure that my music was represented the best way possible, without breaking the bank. Second part of that question, also from your Snap story, you spend a lot of time in professional studios. What do you do outside of YouTube? If you don't have me on Snapchat, feel free to add me. But that's really interesting that you say that, because I actually don't spend a lot of time in professional studios. Outside of YouTube, I am a music teacher at a Boys and Girls Club. If you don't know what a Boys and Girls Club is, think of it as a after-school program where kids get to go for free and do all kinds of fun things. So I'm a music teacher there, where I have a recording studio in my space. I have tons of guitars, instruments, computer stations, iPad stations. I teach a lot of music technology, so that could be what you're thinking of. So I spend at least 40 hours a week there teaching, planning, and try to make awesome musical opportunities for kids in Boston. Anonymous, again on Tumblr, asks, "Hi man, just saw your YouTube channel, some good beats you make. I'm a beginner and have a few questions about gear to buy. I have Push 2 and started learning live." Awesome. What MIDI synth do you recommend? I saw the Korg Tactile 25, seems nice. What do you think about the K-Oscillator Pro? I have the mini K-Oscillator and it works great. I really don't need the giant one. Don't get too caught up in the trap of using those devices that sort of make the music for you. Get used to making your own music instead of just like pushing a pad and having it do its own thing. It's easy, it sounds good, but is it really you? Think about it. Also want to buy a mic and a sound card. I use the Focusrite Scarlett 2i2, link in the description. It has served me so well, and I've had it for a very long time. And if you're looking for mics, try to avoid MXL. I had really bad experiences with MXL mics. Others might have had good experiences. I switched to Blue microphones after that, started with a Yeti. A friend of mine had the Spark, and now I have the Blue Bird, and they work really well, super high quality and long lasting. Like they're built like tanks. And finally, what monitors do you use? I use the KRK RP5s. Oh, and Anonymous's name is George. Who knew? Time for a lightning round. Would you sign to a major label? Why? No. Nobody's getting my money. Do you use LaunchKey's default Ableton mapping? Yes. Do you play live shows or are you limited to the internet? Internet. In the Facebook community, somebody asked, the gear you'll want to purchase in the future. I definitely like to get a larger audio interface at some point. Maybe the Focusrite 18i20. Also, very interested in the wireless Korg controllers. I don't know if I'm ready to bite the bullet yet. And I'm also very interested in Arturia's mini keyboard controllers. Joseph asks, how do you start playing at clubs, festivals just from producing music without being a DJ? I mean, it could be just hungry, but here if you want to play, you can't even do live sets. You have to be a DJ and you can't even play your own music. People ask you to play this and that, mostly stuff that's popular, and it's so sad. This is true for maybe 90% of the clubs here. And that's not just true there, it's pretty much true everywhere. When I was doing more songwriting and more performances, what I found was I got a lot more work and a lot more gigs if I knew how to play cover songs. So playing other people's music was a huge part of the job. And instead of fighting that, I tended to try to embrace it. And it's okay to do those kinds of gigs and then slip in your own original material here and there. Some people want to hire you for your original material. Some people want to hire you to be the entertainment. So look for more places that are hiring artists and less people that are hiring entertainment. You'll probably have to start going the entertainment route, slipping your own stuff here and there, and people will start to notice if it's good. Other than that, right now the internet is a huge resource, so don't hesitate to put your live sets up on YouTube because people want to see those sorts of things, but they might not be in your geographical location. I think of all the people we have in the TAETRO community and all the people that come and comment on videos from all over the world, and I would have never even reached you guys had I not started this channel. So use the internet as your resource. This is the new stage. Final question from Juan. Do you play music with other people? No. How do you engage with them? Like, what is your role? I think that the issue with people who make music like you is that you play some keys, but you aren't a keyboardist. You play drums, but you're no drummer. You make electronic music, but you're no DJ. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that's bad. I would like to read what you have to say about this, and how do you engage with other musicians or with your audience if you play live? I don't play live a lot right now, not because I don't like to, but because there are things that I allocate time for, like this channel, like creating music, like work, like family, like friends, and adding one more thing to that list is not something I want to do at the moment. I have played live before in more traditional rock bands or as a solo artist, and it wasn't always my favorite part of being a musician. And this comes back to the beginning of your question. You're not a keyboardist, you're not a drummer, but you play drums, that sort of thing. You are whatever you are doing in that moment. So when I'm playing keyboard, I'm a keyboard player. When I'm playing guitar, I'm a guitar player. But you are right to say that I don't define myself that way. And I deal with this all the time in my day-to-day work. I work with a lot of musicians from Berklee School of Music, and everybody has a very clear concentration. You are a guitar player, you are a piano player, you are a vocalist. And going to music school myself, I never really appreciated that route because I'd like to do a lot of things with the ultimate goal of creating music. So I'm a music creator. I guess that's how I define myself. So you can say I'm a composer, I'm a producer, I'm a writer, whatever you say. My ultimate goal is to create music, to create original music. Not everybody has that goal. I know a lot of classical pianists that are very talented, but are fine with playing Bach and Beethoven for the rest of their lives and not writing any original music. That's just not me. I like to create original music, so I learn as much of an instrument as I need to achieve whatever compositional goals I have. So I define myself as a music creator. I get that question a lot. I actually don't get that question a lot, but I feel that question in people's minds a lot, and I'm finally glad to clear it up. So that was a really good question. For now, I have finished the questions on my list. If I missed your question, I'm very sorry. I didn't want to make this video too long, but feel free to keep submitting at taetro.com/ask. If you enjoyed this video, give a thumbs up. And the best part about posting a video is the discussion afterwards, so I'm always replying in the comments if you have any further questions or if you agree or disagree, let me know. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you enjoy live electronic music performances, tutorials, and free sound packs. This has been TAETRO. Have a good one.